Oh, cool, cool. So this should be fun. Should be a good one. Sigalig actually PB'd during qualifiers, so he's still
Yeah, I
got room to
remember.
go.
But this is the DKC2. The race can just go pretty much anyways, so it can go either ways. The game can be pretty punishing. So we'll see what happens.
It is too punishing for me. That's a big agreement there. The timer?
No, the time actually the race timer is timing. It's probably on the probably an issue with the stream or something. Because I have the race room actually, and the timer is actually going.
Can you post the link in the comms thing?
No problem. But Sig decides not to go for the wrong warp in main brace. That's completely fine. Decides to take the warp instead. So in World 1 and 2, as always, the runners will be, for the most part, using the developer intended warps to go as fast as possible. There are some run warps you can do in Worlds 1 and 2, but they don't save as much time compared to the later to other run warps later on in the run. So let's hope Sabin gets Lockjaw. Nice, gets it. So Lockjaw is just you have to do a rather precise roll, and you have to manage your roll speed to not bump to a wall, to be able to reach that warp barrel from without resorting to a team throw. Saves about 2 to 3 seconds, which is pretty nice.
And as you'll see from Sigalig going for some safer strats, that the gap in World 1 is probably going to be around 5 or 6 seconds by the end of it, with obviously RNG dependent.
Both runners do not go for topside because topside is arguably it's a very hard run warp to execute. It doesn't save that much time, so in a race setting, it's completely fine just to go for the regular warp instead. There's absolutely no issues with that. That said, we're on Crow, so the game's biggest RNG factor, so the first 2 hits are always the same. You bounce on the egg as early as possible, but then the 2 other eggs are completely RNG. It's a 50-50 to get either a real egg or a fake egg. So far 2 fakes on Sabin. This is not what you want to see.
Ooh. Looks like same for Sig so far.
So 2 fakes for Sabin. So far 2 fakes for Sig. 3 fakes. 3 fakes. It's not so bad. But this boss can decide to just, oh, I'm just gonna give you a bunch of fakes, and it just gives you as many fakes as he wants. So yeah,
What's
it can be pretty frustrating.
Do you know that offhand?
The world record for fake eggs, I think it's around 19 or 20, something like that. It's pretty. I'm not kidding. It's pretty ridiculous.
I've seen the clip. I just don't remember what the number was. It's so bad.
Sabin gets the 2-1 wrong warp. Now let's see if he gets the 2-2 big boy. Gets it, no problem.
Amen.
Sig does not go for the. I think Sig failed to get the invisible object from the 2-1 from the clobber in 2-1, but at least the warp is at the beginning of the stage, so it's not a major time loss. But it still sucks not to get it.
Yeah,
it's a bit unfortunate.
It's a big reset point once you get to a certain level, but it's probably at these levels. Maybe for Sabin he might reset to it, but Sigalig, I'm assuming, would continue a run. And of course in a race, but looks like both pretty clean on 2-3.
Yo, Sabin, my man playing on the with the French setting, my man. Mind you, doesn't save any time, but it's cool to see French Canadians represent.
Yeah, it's not DKC3 where French is actually faster.
French is definitely faster than DKC3.
Glad we are in agreement.
But other than that, for the rest of World 2, there isn't much to talk about. They're just gonna take the developer intended warps as fast as possible, and until they get to Cleaver. But when they get to Cleaver, oh goodness, the Cleaver is another instance of a RNG. It's really not that much. It just depends on where the cannonball spawns. Depending on where the cannonball spawns, it's about a 1 or 2 second variance. There's a bunch of stuff that can go wrong in Cleaver. It's very easy to just make one tiny mistake and just, oh, you die. Especially for the trick coming up called the lava fly. I think Sabin, I'm pretty sure Sabin's gonna go for it. Ooh, okay, that was.
Sig would go for it.
No, Sabin decides to opt out.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that, because that trick is you would just go over the mountain in the beginning, you would glide all the way across the lava, then you need to do a buffer jump on the ledge, and you'll be able to make it. Saves 4 seconds, but if you fail it, you actually die.
Yeah, it can lose a lot more than 4 seconds.
Yeah, save 4 seconds, or if not, you instantly die. Sig decides not to go for lava fly as well. Okay, but there's nothing wrong. That's perfectly fine.
Oh, by the way.
Arrow sign code, by the way. It's gonna be a recurring theme for you, Code, during this tournament. Alright, so now the runners are making their way into World 3, so no more developer-intended warps, so now this is where the game begins. So, and then we're gonna have our animal buddy Ramby, Heck Ramby, by the way.
Yeah,
So, yeah, so we're just gonna do a bunch of supercharge to go really fast. But yeah, I really despise Ramby. Heck Ramby in the chat, please.
He's not a good animal buddy.
Just... Ramby is the source of frustration. Is a major source of frustration, notably in Red Hot Ride and some in other categories, notably. But Sabin actually did a team turn the arrow barrel there to store a super jump. Then Sabin will take damage on the cloak coming up, and this allows Sabin to get a lot of vertical height and will be able to glide all the way across that swamp section. And it saves
No
about
G,
6
though.
seconds. No G, Sag. It's not.
Getting
it's
a
not
G
part of it.
loses time, right? It's a little slow.
I don't even know if it loses time, but as long as you get lava swamp fly, that's good in my opinion. No G for Sig, Sag.
But he makes it, so we're both gonna get out of Barrel Bayou.
It's very nice. They're now making their way into Glimmer, so this stage is arguably the hardest stage to optimize in the whole game, because every time you go around a corner, you have a slight chance to lose time. You can lose from tenths of a second to full seconds lost just because of doing corners poorly, because every time you go around a corner, you can lose time, and if you really don't want to bonk into a wall, because you actually lose all your momentum, and it's it might not look obvious at first, but it adds up a lot for the entirety of the stage. And the route is pretty much constantly the same as well, but yeah, as I said, it's really hard to be able to be consistently optimized in this stage. It's really hard.
Yeah, it sounds like the Croctopus chase of DKC2.
I'd say Glamour is pretty much Croctopus chase on steroids.
That sounds awful. My worst nightmare. It's honestly, what I've been learning this game, one of the worst stages to play.
True. I mean, it's annoying. It's at the very least, it's extremely annoying. But now Sabin is now on the Crockhead Clamber, which we like to call a Crackhead. So this is the first hard stage in the game. So there's gonna be a lot of rolls under the swamp, over gaps, and there's gonna be a wrong warp at the midway of the stage, which involves using some specific properties of the cutlasses to be able to execute a wrong warp. So we'll see what happens. Sabin, doesn't get it. Sabin could have actually died and actually have attempted it again, but we got Crockhead warpless gamers, so we got some more content.
DLC?
Yeah, exactly. DLC.
I've never seen this right now. I saw it during one of the other
But
races.
Sig gets the wrong warp. Excellent. Actually pulls ahead. Pulls ahead.
Nice.
But Sabin gets through a warpless Crockhead without any issues, because the second half, the Crackhead Warpless is actually unironically not easy to do.
Well, the
There,
first half is pretty hard to get like a good IL time. Oh,
but in Warpless, the second half can be pretty hard because the end section with the Crackheads as a platform, they have sometimes very finicky hitboxes, and sometimes it's awful. You roll through them and you're pretty much screwed. Especially if you're on 1.0, their hitbox is actually worse compared to 1.1.
I also like that we're gonna brush over possibly the biggest mistake in this game, which is removing Winky and replacing him with a snake, and then giving him a horizontal level, despite being a vertical character.
True. So Rattle Battle is a rather infamous level for its horrible hitboxes. It's just the hitboxes are just jank and / terrible on this stage, and I never understood why they did a stage where they put an animal body that excels in vertical movement in a horizontal based stage. I will never understand that.
But hey, it kills runs constantly and time, so I guess they did what they wanted. I don't think they like speedruns.
Oh, Sabin takes damage.
Oh
So
no.
here on Slank Line, what the runners are doing, they're actually setting up a super jump by swapping under the water to be able to get a lot of vertical height, and they will now attempt a beetle clash to be able to get an invisible object, and will bring in that invisible object falling down to the bonus and throwing left at the proper timing, and will be able to get kicked out. And this will trigger one warp. Very nice. Sig gets it.
Yeah, I've never seen the Warpless, so this is interesting. Oh, he's still going. Oh, you can still go for it. Oh my god, it just takes so long to get up there.
I just hope I just hope the ideas are okay on Sabin's side.
Yeah.
Still gets it. I'm a bit shocked. I did not.
Yeah.
I did not think that was gonna work because I thought the IEs were gonna be completely off on Sabin's side.
Until you said that, I didn't even think about that. The IDs, yes, they're so important in some of these wrong warps that like such the small mistake can ruin it, and it's so surprising that still worked.
Yeah, true. But here, Ramble Blast, so the song that reminds everyone of their childhood. Press 1, you had a childhood in the chat. But now Sig is coming up on the Vine clip, but let's see if he gets it. Unfortunately doesn't get it. That's unfortunate. Oh, Sig goes for Val clip. Nice. I've seen that twice now.
That's gaming.
Very nice. That's actually not a bad backup actually.
I need to learn that. It actually looks pretty cool.
Sabin meanwhile going for a more traditional backup. Yeah, if you fail Vine clip, it's very fortunate. It's very fortunate. You have multiple backups to choose from. Like Sig decided to go for a Val clip, and Sabin went for a more traditional throwing up a Kong onto the vine above. So at least you have multiple backups. There's like 2 other backups you can also do if you fail Vine clip. But at least they didn't lose a Kong. At least they didn't have to do Maze of Shame because that loses 1 billion.
Now we're on Ledge Kill, the Cudgel, the worst boss in DKC2. Maybe the whole trilogy?
Very boring boss. Yeah, arguably one of the most boring boss in the trilogy. Like, there isn't much you can do to speed up the fight. The only thing you can do is a trick, it's a tech called Quick Hits, where you count Dixie's breath / oscillation, which just moves up and down to time it when the boss falls down, to be able to hit the boss as the earliest moment possible. But they don't save that much time, and it's easy to just slightly mistime the quick hit, and you lose an entire cycle. Yeah. It can be pretty annoying.
It seems like one of those tricks where the risk for it and the payoff is not worth what you can lose.
Yeah, high risk, low reward. I mean, that's pretty much the entire DKC speedruns. Like, let's be honest, most of the tricks in any speedruns in DKC, there's a bunch of tricks that just save minimal time and are just, it can result in instant death.
Frame savers, everything saves 20 frames, a donkey unit.
Yeah. But now Sig is on Wolf 4, so Hornet Hole. So the first honey level, which introduces honey climbing, and honey climbing is arguably one of the hardest basic mechanics to learn in the game. In my opinion, it's very easy to just you're barely usually you have a rhythm. I have a rhythm when to climb, but sometimes you just okay. Oh no, Sig dies.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
unfortunate.
So Sabin's gonna pull
That's
ahead
really
here.
unfortunate. Fortunately, Sig took damage and was really stuck into between the bee and the upcoming freaking porcupine. I'm like, oh goodness, that's the worst situation to be, especially as Diddy.
Yeah, and
And
Sabin
Sabin
was
pulls
in a
ahead.
similar situation, but looks like he got through it. They're not too far off. This is a really good race up through World 4.
Yep, they're still pretty close. So now Sabin is setting up a scrolly scroll. Should get it. Nice. Okay, he got it. No problem. I was a little bit unsure if his positioning was fine. Decides to take the arrow barrel instead of going
Sig's
up the
got it
honey.
too.
That's absolutely no problem. Sig gets the high jump instead. That's pretty good. They both got scrolly scroll. Very nice. So Sig is not too far off behind Sabin. So this is still on, gamers. There's still a good amount of gameplay left. And one thing to note about Scrolly Scroll is that how it is. It's you do a web under the hook, and you go under the web. You dismount Squitter, you get back on the hook, and then you remount Squitter, and then the game just doesn't know what to do and decides to force you to scroll forward, and you save a few seconds by doing it, and you cancel the effects of a Scrolly Scroll by intentionally taking damage. You're able to resume as normal. But there's actually a downside to Scrolly Scroll, is that if you don't get the setup properly, you could actually get pushed in the wall and you're unable to get up and to get out, and you're essentially soft locked.
Ooh, that sounds not fun.
I've seen that happen in a few races. That's not fun. It's reset. It's a reset. It really sucks when it happens.
As somebody who is very accustomed to soft locking in one, I can definitely understand that feeling.
But now both runners are not on the target terror. Another auto scrollers. There isn't much to talk about here. The only thing you can do to go faster is just you jump off the carts as early as possible, and you can also there are also some flitters you can skip, but they just save minimal amount of time. You can save just in total, like by skipping all the flitters, just half a second. There isn't a lot of time saved in this auto scroller. Say no to swag. I hope Sabin doesn't go for swag balloon. Alright,
Okay,
say no
we
to
could just
swag.
flush over
Say
that.
no to swag.
Oh, good stuff, gamers. That is the correct choice.
Because going for swag balloon, you can actually take damage, and you can actually lose time by doing it, by not executing it properly. But now Sabin is on the Brambler, so unfortunately took damage on the B and it has to reset and has to take a death to be able to have another Kong. This is not what you want to see, because you absolutely need 2 Kongs to perform this run warp. So it is a rather convoluted run warp. So the climb to get on the upper platform, the clash, and then the post section, and then the section after the clash, they all matter, and you need to have the IDs set up properly by how you're loading the objects on screen to be able to match it properly.
Both
didn't get it.
Yeah,
That's unfortunate. They both failed the clash. That's unfortunate. And the clash is not easy either, because it's about a 1 to 5 frame window, depending on location on the vine. That's unfortunate. It's not an easy run warp.
Isn't that what the corner is for? It like makes the window bigger.
It just makes the window more consistent.
Oh, okay.
Because you still have to.
Dig's got it. Dig's got it. Let's go.
They should both got it. Should be good. All right, they both got it. They got it second. Sabin got it third try. Sig got it second try. Well, actually, Sabin unfortunately took damage on the B earlier, but if we're actually going for like actual run warp attempt, they got it both second try. So it's not too bad, all things considered, because this run warp is pretty finicky.
And it's good for the viewers because we are synced, folks. This is about as close as it can get.
Like Sig is just barely like 2 seconds
Oh,
behind.
yeah. It was like going in, and then I don't know which gamer. It looks like I've already missed it again. Sabin's a little bit ahead. Maybe
Not by too much, like 2 and at most 3 seconds.
and with the
It's
delay,
really
we have
close
no
now.
idea.
I just hope the number 2 guy doesn't curse this run.
The funniest thing was
Okay,
with
thank
the-
goodness. Run is not cursed. Woo, we're good. Because number 2 guy is actually a rather notorious part of the rickety race because it's very easy to just mistime your jump. The jump you do to kill it before the just beforehand is rather tricky. You have to be rather early. If you're too late, you're just gonna bounce and you pretty much fall to your doom. You fall to your death, then you restart the entire stage. I've seen it happen, and it's, oh goodness, it's not it's the worst thing to happen.
Then you reset the timer, and then you reset the game.
Yeah, just reset if you die forehead. But at least they got through, no problem. So now both runners are on mud hole. So mud hole, a very hard stage. So, but it's a really good stage because there's a lot of tricky platforming, a lot of rolling over gaps under the swamp. But here the runners are going to be doing a safe strat, taking the invincibility barrel. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that because the eagle pit is very difficult to navigate without an invincibility barrel. So there's nothing wrong by doing that safe strat.
I always wondered why they called them eagles in this game. Because they are definitely just mini neckies from DKC1.
I mean, they look like eagles, by the way. So now Sabin attempting the wrong work. Oh, doesn't get it. Sig gets the insta clash. Oh goodness. And Sig get. Oh no! Unfortunately, Sabin die and Sig does not get the wrong warp. That's unfortunate. But I think Sig can still reset. Yes. Nope. Sig decides to opt out.
He's like, I'm just over it.
Yeah, Sig decides to opt out, and there's this. Will finish the level warpless. Meanwhile, Sabin can. I still believe Sabin can still actually pull ahead of Sig if he gets the wrong warp. So we'll see what happens.
I'm actually not sure, because
not.
Sig's still gonna be ahead.
No, Sig is still gonna be ahead.
But Sabin's got
Second try one more for Sabin, and Sig actually pulls ahead from that. They both had mishaps in Mudhole, but Mudhole is pretty difficult, so I'm not even surprised, and that's unfortunate.
I was gonna say earlier and I forgot, but now I kind of reminded.
Sig does not get the big boy.
Oh,
Meanwhile,
darn.
Sabin gets it, no problem.
But with the delay, we actually don't know how close they are, because I thought the Broke Meal race last night was like a second off, but then once we found out from the timers, it was actually like 11 seconds, but this race is very close.
Yes, this race is very close, and there's no way to. We still have a lot of gameplay left for this race, so it's definitely not over.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
not
it's
over
not
until the
delayed.
end, folks. Oh, and by the way,
Yeah, definitely at this point, because I think there was that big comeback in CLC, yeah.
yeah, the race from Brothmeal and Crosby. Unfortunately, Brothmeal had some mishaps.
Yeah.
CLC and Crosby was able to come back in the race just for that. But here we got Ramby Rumble. Heck, Ramby once again. Once again, we're just gonna be doing. The runners are gonna be doing supercharge to go really fast, but once again, it shows an animal body that I really despise.
Why does he
Heck,
get such a
Ramby.
good song? Is my question, because that's like one of my favorites from DKC2. Some people don't like it though. But Run Ramby Run is a bang.
It's actually good. Not my favorite though. So now Sabin is on King's Ding Sting, aka Never Sleep on the King. You do not want to sleep on this boss fight actually. Oh no, Sabin dies! Yep, and Sabin actually slept on the King.
Oh,
This is not what you want to see, gamers.
you hate to see it. Anime, dream.
Yeah, you hate to see that. Here in this boss fight, it's just basically knowing your timings just to hit the boss as early as possible. So it's very easy to you're just barely off what your throw timings. You don't actually hit the boss properly, and it just completely throws you off your cycles.
I like that so
Are
many
we
of the
gonna
things
see
in
a
this
two
game.
cycle?
That would be crazy. I was gonna say a lot of the stuff in this game just reminds me of the stuff from 1, because that's the same thing with the boss fight and with the bee in 1. You hit them with the barrel a little too early and it just doesn't care.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're still in the they're still on their
Angry
iframes.
face.
Yep, they're still in their
Oh
invulnerability
no,
phase.
Sig!
Oh no, Sig dies. Well, Sig actually slept on the king too. That's unfortunate.
There's a lot of sleeping on the king in this race.
That
And that's
that
probably the worst time to do so.
Yeah, Sig was at the very last hit too. That's unfortunate. I'm calling BS on that death.
I didn't see it, I just looked over and he was not getting fanfare, and I'm like, oh no.
Meanwhile, Sabin on the Ghostly Grove. This is arguably one of the best stages to practice Isle on. I really like doing Isle practice in the Ghostly.
Yeah, it looks like a really good movement stage.
Yeah, it's all about movement in this stage. It's really fun. There's a bunch of optimization you can do as well in this stage.
Some of the strats for this part.
Yeah, but Sabin
really
just
cool.
decides to just
Play it
despawn the
safe.
cloak. There's nothing wrong with that, because if you try to go for the strat called front/back rope, it's very easy to you're just barely off, and you can actually take damage, or you can actually die, because you can be just at one Kong and you just mistime your jump to reach the rope, and you die. It's pretty frustrating.
Yeah, I can imagine. And we're entering Haunted Halls now, the stage where they sampled Drake, so gotta love it.
Correction, Tupac's Library.
Sure, but it's also the song they sampled. They sampled a Drake song. Six God.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Is that even actually true?
No, he sampled this song,
Lamax.
but what I'm saying is,
Lamax.
if you listen to that song, it's got this song in it, which is great. Just the worst part of it though, it's one of the weirdest samples. It's just sampling the like da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na part, not like the good like the slow part, and that kind of disappoints me. But it's still a cool sample.
This level is still called Tupac's Library, and
Yeah, he does.
aka Haunted Hall. So this is another score you don't want to sleep on, because there are some time saves you can do in this level. You do some rather precise jumps in order to build momentum and preserve momentum, and doing the level without doing those jumps compared to trying to do the level as optimally as possible, you can save about at least 2.5 seconds to 3 seconds.
Sorry guys, but I'm leaving the stream during Haunted Hall. It's frightening and makes me tense, my muscles causing severe strain injuries. Please message me when you have reached Gusty Glade. Thanks. Chat's going wild right now.
I like that. That's a good pasta. I like it. Thank you, Catherine, for that pasta. Alright.
DBH.
So now
DBH, by the way.
Sabin is on Gusty.
Oh yeah, we're back in Gusty, Catherine, so you can watch the stream again. Actually, technically Sig's still in Haunted Hall, so you might want to cover one eye. Over on the left.
But yeah, Sabin in Gusty Glade, so the main mechanic in the Gusty Glade is the wind mechanic. It's not RNG based, it's all about it's all position based, so you just time your cycles with your movement as well. So it's a pretty good stage. There's a wrong warp in this stage, which is the Gusty wrong warp. Sabin does not go for it, and I really doubt.
Go for it.
I seriously doubt that Sig is gonna go for it. The
Only
person
one runner would go for it.
There's only one person so far that would actually go for it in a race, and that's SBD. But this run warp is extremely difficult, arguably one of the hardest newer run warps, I should say.
Yeah,
But
Tonk and
that run is finicky.
Tonkatsu and Boyd know how to do it. I think there's somebody else as well, Panda maybe, but
Unfortunately,
yeah,
I don't know about that.
but
Meanwhile,
there's not
Sabin
many
is
that
on
can do it.
BCP. Oh, takes damage on the B.
Oh
Oh,
no.
Sabin has to take it safe here. So, but PCP is arguably the best level to show off in any DKC2 runs. So normally you're supposed to take the purple parrot to slow down your ascent, but you can just fall down through the entire thing. The runners have the level memorized. And it's all about muscle memory and just reacting.
Purple parrots, by the way.
Yeah, purple parrots.
Legends of the Hidden Temple represent.
But Sabin here did a safe strat at the midway point. We actually damage boost with Diddy, and then you have Dixie in front for the rest of the stage, pretty much the rest of the stage. There's nothing wrong by doing safe strats in BCP. It's very easy to. You can actually fall into an infinite in PCP. It can be pretty frustrating. There are some sections you cannot even recover from in PCP. It sucks. It really sucks when that happens.
Yeah, they're just you want to get to that spot. That's the easiest way. Playing the intended route, even as somebody who's only done it casually, is definitely harder than the speed strats. Like if you can learn the speed strats, you should.
Yeah, honestly, even the casual backup, like the backup you do if you fail the headbutt at the end, it's actually much harder than the speedrun strat. It's pretty dumb how it turns out. Meanwhile, Sabin is on the Webwoods. So Webwoods is a very difficult stage. So we're gonna be playing as a squitter for the entirety of the stage. And the main mechanic with squitter are the instant platform that you execute by pressing L and R at the same time. But there's one caveat to those instant platforms. There's a small cooldown between platforms, so you need to be very careful to time your webs properly. If not, the instant platform will not form, and you pretty much die. There's a lot of dead runs and dead monkeys down there.
The pit of despair.
Oh god, yeah.
So many runs just live in this pit.
And also there's some animal damage boosts that you're able to do. So whenever you take damage when you're transformed as an animal body, you have a small frame window to be able to do a jump again. But there are some jumps that are rather finicky, so it's just all about timing. But Sabin gets through, no problem. Sabin took it safe, but there's nothing wrong by taking the Webwood safe.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the hardest stages in the game, and definitely one that can lose a lot of time.
Okay, Sig is through PCP. Nice. Alright.
Cool, entering Webwoods as well.
Yes, entering Webwoods. Now Sabin is on the Creepy Crow, aka Crow 2, so this is another boss with another instance with RNG. It depends on where the barrel spawns. Ideally, you want to have middle or right spawns. Left spawns loses time. Of course, as I say, left spawns, of course, Sabin gets a left spawn. And you can lose up to 2 to 4 seconds per phase, depending on where the barrel spawns. It can be pretty annoying.
Is that like, how much does it lose, like left side versus right side on the last spawn?
Left spawns usually lose around 4 seconds, if I remember properly.
That's a good jump.
I think the first one, if you get left spawn on the first hit, you lose 2 seconds. I believe the second one is I think it's another 2 seconds, but I believe on the last one it's like about 4 seconds.
That makes sense.
So no Arctic Zips on Sabin's side. So
15 seconds? Jeez.
But Arctic Zip is pretty hard. It's pretty hard.
You're more likely to lose way more than 15 seconds, especially at a lower level. It's one of those tricks where I'd probably save it for around when you're adding top sail or something like that. Even maybe after top sail.
Because what Arctic consists of is you have to bait a lockjaw all the way back to the Anger transformation barrel, and you need to swap at near the wall, and as you're swapping and your Kongs is stuck in the wall, you actually want to take damage from the lockjaw, which the game will just push you up to the next available platform. And it turns out that the angle target is just above the beginning portion of the stage, and you're able to finish the stage much quicker. But it's very, very hard to do, so I don't expect many runners to go for it during races, but there's some that are very confident with the Arctic Zip. So
That makes sense.
yeah.
I mean, if you feel like you've got it every time, you're gonna save that 15 seconds. Or even if you lose a couple seconds in the setup, you're still gonna save roughly 10, 12. And also, I already
Sabin actually
forgot-
fell down, but got back up.
Oh, isn't it tech that I believe was from like either GBA 3 or something like that, and then they saw that it could probably be done in 2, because I think there's a lot of that tech of like taking damage near walls in 3 GBA, but I can't remember.
That I don't know, but it has been TRIs for quite a while. Arctic Zip has been TRIs for a couple of years, but it's only like been the last year and a half that it has been really has really became real. The game actually became a thing.
Is there actually anything newer than that in terms of tech for the run? I think that's it. Other than obviously Gusty and Windy, which we'll probably never know. What is it? Webwoods has one that's only like task only.
Of course. Well, that's Webwoods. Wrong warp. Yeah, no, we don't talk about that. Imagine doing 2 for frame perfect the regrabs in a row. Yeah, no thanks. I'll pass on that. Doesn't save that much time either compared to doing the level normally. So yeah, Sabin is making his way through Windy Well just fine. You don't want to take a damage at the end of Windy Well because you need 2 Kongs, and of course, as I say that, Sabin took damage. Sabin's gonna have to go back to Arctic to be able to grab another Kong. And Sig dies at the end of Pro 2. Oh no, this is not what you want to see, gamers.
You hate to see it.
You hate to see it happen. That's unfortunate. But Sabin went back to Arctic to get back another Kong, and is going to go for the CLC for the Castler wrong warp.
Oh no! Oh wait. Yep. Nope.
Nope. Sabin's gonna I think Sabin
do that.
actually. Sabin's might go instead for the
Oh, the
older
goal swap.
for the goal summon instead.
Yeah, goal summon.
Yep, Sabin is actually going for the goal summon from what it looks like. Yep, definitely going for the goal summon. So we'll see about that.
I'm so used to just the regular wrong warp that I forgot this existed. But yeah, should shortly see some stuff that doesn't make any sense appearing on screen, and that is the end of the level. I think you're moving the Kongs, not the level, but I don't remember. I don't remember the technical stuff for the goal summon.
I don't fully remember the details about if it's like the end portion of the level that actually comes to you, if you actually warp all the way up to the end of the level actually.
Yeah,
but there's one thing that I hope Sabin remembers is to need to stay left after Sabin takes damage. This should be good. Yes, alright, Sabin gets at least the goal summon. Yep. Sabin gets the goal summon just fine. Unfortunately, loses a minute over Castle Crush wrong warp, but it's not too bad all things considered because Castle Crush is actually a 4 minutes and a half, 5 minute auto scroller, so it's not too bad going for the goal summon instead of the wrong warp.
Any way to beat that level early is better than playing that full run.
True.
Except for infinite team throws.
Yeah.
Infinite Castler looks. Yeah.
Yeah, the new warpless meta, I guess, but I don't think I'm ever gonna try to do that. The Infinite 1.0 Castle Crush thing. Nope, I don't think I'll ever do that in warpless.
Alright, let's see what Sig goes for in Castle Crush.
but Sig is now on the
Oh,
windy
windy.
well.
Oh my god, I
forehand.
totally forgot about
We'll see
windy.
what
Oh
happens.
shoot, he's a lot further behind then.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Sabin gets through clappers, no problem. Is now on the CLC. So another one warp in CLC, the last one warp in the run. So we'll see what happens. We've seen a lot of runners actually getting in the CLC infinites. So I just hope that doesn't happen to Sabin. Oh, takes damage. That's still fine. There's a DK Arrow up there.
Oh yeah.
Recover DD. That's not an issue.
I forgot about
Thankfully.
that. As long as he knows that. Oh no.
Oh, this is really bad because I don't think you can do the clubber, the clubber clash with Dixie. Yep, Sabin actually has to take a death. Gonna restart again.
Yeah, that's probably the smartest move, honestly, to die quickly after losing Diddy.
But what Sabin could have done, just actually get into the bonus and actually grab the DK barrel again and to get Diddy back.
Yeah. True.
This would have been, I think this would have been less costly, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It could probably be close, to be honest.
Because
They probably
thankfully,
didn't lose too much.
yeah, because thankfully when you go into the bonus to, to reset the enemy position, also Sabin gets it. Nice, gets it like second try, but that's fine. It's better
Made
than
the
the
second
just
try
one
look like
minute.
none of that stuff at the beginning happened. Well, technically he didn't even get to the wrong work part. It was mainly just movement, so kind of
True.
first try, but 1.5, we'll call it. Not bad. Now Sig will be entering. He'll be entering Castle Crush.
Quote unquote first try. Yeah, exactly, Gil.
Straight up entering, by the way.
First try every time. Sabin struggling with the short hops. Finally gets it, but Toxic Tower arguably one of the hardest stages in the game, especially in this run.
At least it makes sense, though. Hey, we put the vertical character on a vertical.
Very, very good. Sig gets Castler wrong war first try. Very nice.
Gaming.
Meanwhile, Sabin is making his way on the second half of a Toxic. Much easier than the stake section, but still very easy to.
Takes the shortcut.
Yeah, Sabin takes the shortcut.
Let's
You lose about 2 to 3 seconds, but honestly, you actually keep a Kong if you actually take damage in later portions, like where the section of that Sabin is doing.
Yeah,
it's very
like
easy to just take damage and yeah.
Oh, I forgot about these ones too, yeah. Any of the last sections that you're flying through are good to have that extra Kong, especially if you're not too worried about trying to save time right now.
So up in forehead for Sabin.
Dollar ahead, by the way.
But at least gets through Toxic without dying. So that's the most important part in Toxic. It's better to go just a little bit slower, but still not dying in Toxic.
DNA says you can CLC with Dixie. Oh, interesting.
I've never seen the CLC run warp done with Dixie. I guess I'll need to see the tape on that. Meanwhile, Sig is on the CLC, so
oh, and
let's see how he handles the run warp.
TheSabin. This is we're in the end game.
Sig taking his time. There's nothing wrong with that. Sabin actually despawns the cloak instead of going for the jump, which is natural route, by the way.
Yeah, he didn't go for natural route. That's a shame. We might not see it from Sig either.
Oh, Sig gets the CLC run warp first try. Very nice.
Very good warps from Sig in this race. I think he may have only missed Bramble once. Bramble?
Both runners failed Brambler once.
Oh wait, did he get Crockhead? Yeah, because he got the instant clash too. Yeah, he's got really good warps this race.
Yeah, unfortunately Sabin had a mishap on the Crockhead as well. So yeah, future sprint. The Brambles in this stage are very deceptive, especially towards the final section of the stage. The last vertical shaft, it's very easy to you mistime your position and the hitboxes are pretty wonky.
Yeah,
in
if
the stage because of the brambles. For whatever reason, the actual hitbox compared to the visual, they actually extend out. And oh
yeah,
goodness,
God,
it's
these are
very
so
it's tilting when you get hit. Like, dude, that's some beat. That sometimes the hitboxes are pretty BS in sprint, but Sabin makes it out just fine, no problem.
yeah. And we're in K roll. We're in the final auto scroller of this game, essentially.
Basically a glorified cutscene. There isn't much you can do to go much faster in that fight. You just want to throw the cannonballs as early as possible in the back in the Keeble's blunderbuss, and that's pretty much it. Meanwhile, Sig still on Toxic Tower takes damage.
How much does an unoptimal K roll fight lose?
I would say it
In Boyd's
depends.
chat earlier today, it was hilarious.
I mean, I would say it depends.
Yeah, there's a
Top and
lot
four
of
for
factors
Sig.
for a K roll fight.
Unfortunately, I cannot say by heart. It just depends. But you can lose from a couple of seconds by just not trying to by just not throwing as optimally as possible. And also, there's one more thing: you do not want to do you go for the blue DD or any colored monkeys because you actually lose time. You unironically lose time.
How much does Blue Diddy lose?
You lose between 2 to 4 seconds, depending on the phase.
I remember
Because what
really
happens
thought
is,
Bromeo lost because of Blue Diddy, and that would have been so unfortunate.
yeah, Bromeo actually went for swag on Keyboard, but unironically lost the race due to foregoing for Blue Diddy.
No, I don't
Because-
with Blue Diddy or without Blue Diddy is what I was saying. That was
But
such a great race of the tournament so far, and we're so early on. We're at round 1.
Sig actually gets race skip, but takes damage. Sig needs to be very careful for that section, for the rest of the stage. I wonder if he's gonna go for the backup Kong barrel. There is. Yep, decides to go for the backup Kong barrel. That's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
That is how you finish a race.
Ooh, takes damage again. Has to wait out the B ring. Just don't die, Sig. Please, just don't die.
So through this
check it.
section, you're pretty good.
The last vertical shaft can be very deceptive as well. Sig taking it very safe. Oh no! Of course, commentators curse, folks. Commentators curse as always.
Yeah, he should be good.
Of course, as I say that earlier, of course, commentators curse.
I mean, I said it too.
Yep.
He should be good. Right after that, no.
Yep, this had to happen. This is so sad. Meanwhile, Sabin on the final hit of Kiril. Gonna be finishing up. Sabin finishes actually with a 47-35. Nice run, Sabin.
Nice run. Yeah.
Nice run, Sabin. Now Sega once again going through the B ring. Still has only one Kong, so let's hope he makes it through this time.
And this time he's got.
Alright, he's through. Good. But yeah, the last vertical shaft of that stage has claimed a couple of runs. Not gonna lie, I've been a victim of that.
I'm sure when I start my runs soon that it's gonna happen all the time. Like, I'm gonna just get to that stage and then have an absolute meltdown and not finish the run. Even if I don't have a PB, I would probably still not finish that run. But
It's pretty
nice,
tilting, especially if you're on pace.
it should feel like you're in the final stretch, but you're not. That's a tough level.
Okay. Oh, it was so close.
Yeah.
Oh goodness, I thought the cannonball was gonna despawn and Sig would have to take an extra cycle. That was very close.
This time in K roll is you don't want to redo cycles. Oh, again. Oh, okay, cool. These are some Wonka throws.
Sig it's been throwing very early. This you just have to wait it out a little bit longer. It's better just to wait out the moment where the dust starts to appear compared to throwing way too early. It's just the cannonball will just bounce off and you have to grab it again, which is unironically pretty difficult. Which is unironically it's rather hard to make sure because well you get pushed towards Kirill as well, so you have to kind of fight the pushback, and it's goodness, it's very annoying. Very easy to also to actually make collision with Kirill and you lose a Kong.
Yeah. Not what you want. Not what you want.
And there's also another thing that also on Kirill, if you actually take an extra cycle, it's also unironically it's rather disorienting. You're just so used to have Kirill like and a set as a set and a how can I put it as a set pattern for the entirety of the fight, but then Kirill takes an extra cycle and Kirill is now on the opposite sides for the
Anytime
rest
you're
of
thrown
the
on
fight,
the pattern,
and you're
just...
completely thrown off because of the patterns. It's actually rather disorienting.
Yeah, it's like in Bob in 1. If the light cycle is off, that is... I'll just wait like half a second and just get back on my light cycle instead of trying to forego it. And I don't know if you can fix that in this. You're just stuck on a cycle you just don't want to deal with.
You cannot just wait out another cycle.
Yeah.
You're just gonna lose an eternity and a half.
Yeah.
So you just have to play it out. You'll just have to play it out with the cycles reversed.
Yeah. At least it's not too bad. You just gotta flip your left to right.
Yeah, you have like to adapt to the reverse position of Kirill for the rest of the fight.
Adapt, react, overcome.
I mean, your analogy with Blackout Basement is not wrong. That's not a bad analogy, to be honest.
I feel like they stole a lot of stuff from DKC1. I'm surprised Rare didn't sue.
And Sig is finished
Nice
with the
run.
51-41. Nice run, Sig.
Nice run, gamers. Very good stuff. Good race.
That was a
Very
good
close.
race.
I think World 6 is where it might have started, or the end of World 5, but yeah, that was a really close race up through most of it.
There was a lot of mishaps in the World 3 and World 4, like all the way from World 3 onwards. And,
But from both racers, so it kind of kept it all together, which was nice. So you definitely don't want to have one racer just making mistakes the entire run, and the other one is just a clear-cut thing. It was really nice to see the back and forth.
Yeah, it's a bit like it's not the best thing to have like such a one-sided race. It's like it's not always fun to watch such a one-sided race.
Yeah, that World 5 was rough, Sig, but you did really good.
Yeah. I mean, that's not wrong, Sig. That's not wrong. But I hope you enjoyed the race, gamers. I believe that was the only race tonight. I believe that was the only race tonight. If I'm not mistaken.
We will have a few races tomorrow, though, but it looks like for tonight, that's gonna be it.
Yep, this is going to be the only race for tonight. So thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed the race. I want to thank once again the absolute legend Bean for doing the restream.
Thank you, Bean.
The absolute legend holding down the fort. I want to thank you, Code, for actually commentating alongside me. Really, it was fun. I really like commentating alongside other people.
Problem. Yeah, I didn't want there to be a solo one, so I had no problem jumping in. Well, I thought I was going to be by myself for a second, which would have been horrible. So I'm so glad. Thank you, Mark.
Not a problem.
I can't speak in telling.
Oh yeah, Arrow Code, by the way.
Yeah. Can't speak, by the way. But yeah, hope everybody has a great night. I'm going to get off, but if Mad Mark has anything else to say, I think we're about
Yes.
This move go, by the way, a bunch.
And also follow the race, follow the runners, follow the commentators, and follow the person behind the restream, aka
Don't
Bean.
follow me.
So I hope you have a good night, everyone in the chat. Thank you once again for watching. But we'll be back tomorrow and for the rest of the week as well, and the following weeks, because there's still a ton of races coming up, and it's gonna be pretty exciting. We have a bunch of other races coming up. So I hope you stay tuned, gamers, for the following races. And with this, there's only one thing left to say before ending the stream. Rolling out.
Rolling out.